Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Lydia Odijochi. Welcome. This broadcast is being streamed live on our website nta.nt/live and other social media handles displayed on your screen. Let us start with the Federal Executive Council meeting. Obstacles to the construction of the 700 megawatt Zungeru hydroelectric power project may have been dismantled following the approval of additional 2.7 billion naira by the Federal Executive Council for the compensation and resettlement of the affected communities. Minister of Power Abubakar Aliyu announced this while briefing journalists after the council's meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. We will bring you details in subsequent bulletin. A new chairman has been sworn in to fill existing vacancy in the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. It is Mohammed Bello Shehu, who until now was the secretary to the commission. President Muhammadu Buhari performed the swearing ceremony before the commencement of the Federal Executive Council meeting. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
Protect and defend those Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Screened and found worthy for the job by the Senate, Mohammed Bello Shehu takes oath of office and allegiance before President Muhammadu Buhari. This is in line with Section 154, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria as amended. Shehu from Zaria local government area of Kaduna State holds 2 bachelor's degrees in education and major industrial science and technology, as well as a master's in industrial relations and strategic studies from Colorado State University, United States, and Igwinidion University, Okada, Edo State. Before his appointment as Secretary, Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, the new chairman of the commission worked in both private and public sectors in Nigeria and the United States between 1993 and 2020.
I may not be the best in Nigeria, but in his wisdom, he decided to make me the chairman, Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. I'm very happy.
Mohammed Bello Shehu promised to not only add value to the commission, but also live above board in the discharge of his responsibilities.
Our task as revenue mobilization is how we can assist Mr. President to get more revenue for the Federation, block leakages, looking at the constitutional responsibility of the commission, which of course are monitoring of accruals to Federation account and disbursement, and also taking care of the salaries of political office holders and judicial officers as enshrined in the Constitution. That had not been reviewed since 2008, and I think there is agitation for that. Revenue allocation formula had not been touched for about 29 years. The Constitution says after a period of 5 years can be reviewed, looking at the circumstances of the country. More states have been created. And also our other responsibility, like monitoring of CBN, monitoring of Ministry of Finance, Customs, NNPC, those are huge tasks. I know there is a lot of debate on whether there is operating surplus, like some of the agencies of government will claim that what they are getting is surplus of revenue. Revenue is revenue as far as the commission is concerned.
The new chairman succeeded Elias Mbam, who resigned to pursue political aspirations. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Nigeria's NNS Kada, which sailed from Lagos on a voyage to deliver logistics, equipment, and stores to Nigerian contingent of the ECOWAS Stabilization Support Force to the Republic of Guinea-Bissau, has arrived at the port of Bissau. Captain of the ship, Navy Captain Aboki, and his crew officially presented the vessel to the Nigerian ambassador to Guinea-Bissau, John Usanga, who received the ship alongside the ECOWAS representative, Professor Hamidu Boli. During the inspection of the ship, the Nigerian ambassador expressed delight receiving the ship, which was on its first national assignment. He He assured the people of Bissau and Guinea that Nigeria is not at war with the countries as being speculated, but a gesture from a big brother nation whose vessel has arrived to deliver equipment and supplies to its contingent in Bissau to support the efforts of the ECOWAS and host armed forces to stabilize the country in readiness for political and economic development. John Usanga assured the country's armed forces also that Nigeria is not in that country to take over their military duties, but to support them under the ECOWAS supervision in order to achieve political stability. Similarly, the ambassador enjoined the Nigerian contingent to stay within their mandate and their bounds. The National Union of Electricity Employees has commenced nationwide strike with picketing of headquarters of the Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) in Abuja and gradual shutting down of substations across the country. Already there is interruption of power supply across franchise areas of electricity distribution companies as a result of impasse between National Union of Electricity Employees and TCN. The union had threatened to begin strike from 17th August 2022 to press home their demands, which include issues of promotion, stigmatization of staff from the Office of Head of Service of the Federation from working in other areas in the power sector, and inability of the market operator to fund payment of entitlement of former PHCN staff. Meanwhile, the federal government is currently meeting with the leadership of the National Union of Electricity Employees for amicable resolution of the impasse between the union and the TCN. Community texts in the ECOWAS sub-region are designed to promote peace, security, and good governance, but implementation by member states is still poor. ECOWAS Parliament delocalized meeting in Banjul, the Gambia, is therefore seeking solutions to this challenge. Onengie Fineface reports.
Provision of community texts by ECOWAS is said to be a major achievement for regional political development. Yet, West African countries continue to suffer from an onslaught of political instability, conflict, terrorism, and low cross-border economic development. This meeting of the ECOWAS Parliament Joint Committee on Political Affairs, Peace and Security, Legal Affairs and Human Rights, as well as that of Social Affairs, Gender and Women Empowerment, seeks to promote increased political will by member states to domesticate and implement community texts designed to address common regional challenges and strengthen good governance.
Member states must now give full support to the domestication and implementation of all legal instruments relative to the free movement of persons, goods, and services, as well as other protocols aimed at hinching the great people of ECOWAS closer to the ideals of political peace, social progress, and economic affluence.
Conflict prevention mechanisms have been established which provide useful insight into potential crises. However, these mechanisms should be strengthened to produce timely and tangible outcomes.
This is obvious because without peace and security, our member states will not be able to implement effective economic policies, enforce the rule of law, attract business investments, and deliver public infrastructure and services.
Members of Parliament hope to get the buy-in of heads of government of member states to ensure the promotion of peace and regional stability through the instrumentality of available community texts in the region. Onengie Fineface, NTA News.
Spate of insecurity in parts of the country has kept government and relevant agencies on their toes, seeking solutions. The use of non-kinetic response approach is one strategy recommended at a national summit at the last quarter of 2021. Kenneth Nadim reports that the collaborative agencies and stakeholders converged on Abuja at the instance of the National Orientation Agency, NOA, to put in perspective recommendations of the summit for adoption.
Non-kinetic non-kinetic response to insecurity held December 2021 suggested a non-kinetic approach which does not require shooting of bullets, but galvanizes action through inclusive interagency collaboration.
To win so many battles is not the function of the military, but the function of every citizen.
To mainstream all of these, every speaker is dropping a point into the pool of ideas on the way to go.
The Nigerian Navy wishes to assure and emphasize that in our operations we will continue to abide by our time-honored rules of engagement.
There are all these principles, these strategies, this framework, but the lack of it is the harmonization, the cooperation, and the coordination. That's what I want us to emphatically stress.
These ideas, they are sure, will translate into a step-by-step strategy for implementation.
It must be civil-military relations anchored, must be community-based, community-owned, community-driven, supported by government, non-governmental organizations, civil society organizations, the media.
While citizens await to see more improvement on the security situation, the gatekeeping process to achieve the initiative also lies in their hands. Kenneth Nanin, NTA News.
Benue State Governor Samuel Otom has directed the security advisor Paul Hemba to liaise with relevant security agencies to intensify the enforcement of restriction on operation of motorcyclists in the state from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. The governor re-emphasized this at the State Executive Council meeting at the Government House, Makudi. Charles Abba reports.
Directive of the governor to the Special Advisor on Security, Paul Hemba, is on the heels of rising crime waves in various parts of the state in recent times involving motorcycles. The governor directed the Special Advisor to ensure that health or security formations in the state are properly briefed to expedite action on securing total compliance with the 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. curfew placed on the use of motorcycles in the state.
We are alert at all times to ensure we tackle the security problems in Benue State. It's a matter of time.
The governor further directed the Commissioner for Lands, Survey and Solid Minerals to chart a course of ensuring that Benue benefits from the 13% derivative from the federal government following the discovery of gold in the state.
Federal government is receiving royalties from these minerals that we have here in Benue State.
He also re-emphasized the benefit of the just inaugurated Benue State Community Volunteer Guards in assisting conventional security operatives to tame the tide of crimes in the state. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
The FCT Ministerial Task Team on City Sanitation has pulled down trees serving as criminal hideouts at Pasali, Kuje. Onoze Yakubu reports.
Besides serving as criminal hideouts, the Kuje Area Council has resolved to relocate traders on perishable goods who mostly engage their businesses along the road corridor to the demolished space. The exercise is generating mixed reactions from the owners of the affected economic trees who are demanding for compensation.
We have counted every type of economic thing we have them and the numbers, and we have calculated everything is here.
We can't fight government, but they should consider us and compensate us. That is all.
Head of Monetary and Enforcement Abuja Environmental Protection Board, Kaka Bello, noted that it is the responsibility of the Kuje Area Council to compensate the owners of the economic trees that were removed and not the FCT administration.
We have some security challenges here, as you can see. Even when we came here, you see a lot of people turning this place to where they can take all sort of illicit drugs. They are going to be compensated. The area council will compensate the owners here.
The affected economic trees pulled down include cashew and melina trees.
It's now time to join Kende in Lagos for more on Nationwide. Kende?
Hello, Radio. Glad to have you join us in Lagos. Goods worth millions of naira were not spared by an early hour fire outbreak on a plaza along Legalia Yorinde Street, Victoria Island. The source of the fire disaster that could not be ascertained was put out by officials of the Lagos State Fire Service. Abalade Salami reports.
The fire outbreak, according to eyewitness, started off in the wee hours of Wednesday morning from one of the lock-up shops. Although several attempts by the people to curtail the fire could not stop its spread, as none of the shops had a fire extinguisher. The fire lasted until the arrival of officials of the Lagos State Fire Service. Meanwhile, owners of some of the shops affected showed up at dawn to pick the pieces of what is left of the disaster.
I have one store and I have main shop. The both of them is down. I didn't bring out a hammer, a pin, hit by tools and drilling machines. Everything is burned.
The one-story building plaza, housing more than 20 shops, has occupants who deal majorly in clothing, office gadgets, electrical fittings, and home appliances, among other items. While the source of the fire outbreak is yet to be ascertained, the shop where the fire emanated from had all its items burnt, as other goods stored in the shop on the same lane were not spared.
What we are selling here is clothes, and the smoke, the fire have affected a lot of the business. You can see if you go to the back where the shop is, there's nothing inside it again. Everything has been cleared up.
It has been observed that incidences of fire outbreak in Lagos metropolis involving shops and markets are for some time now reduced, with increased awareness on the need for residents to be cautious of storing highly inflammable materials and other items that may trigger fire. In Lagos, Abalade Salami, NTA News.
Electricity workers in Lagos are gradually shutting down power feeders and generation plants across the state, leaving business owners stranded and dependent on other alternatives. Mark Ololale reports that the development earlier anticipated is to pursue some demands relating to career progression and status of the transmission company of Nigeria.
We have about 6 very paramount stations. They've been off for now. That is how it's going to be throughout the whole nation.
A thought that could have been better imagined, now a reality. And as it stands, strategic locations in Lagos State have to cope with non-availability of public power supply. How long this will last is the worries of business operators like Lawal Bassett, as the impact of the few-hour strike has already come with its attendance challenges.
It's so hard and difficult because there's been scarcity of petrol, and petrol sold 900 is now 2,000 naira 25.
Alale Kaweda has returned to the drawing board, despite being aware of the simple fact that no source of energy is comparable to the one supplied from the national grid.
Even me using gel now, like the gel can bring in forth anytime. Do you understand? I have to go and be looking for an engineer. It won't work like a NEPA. Imagine having a standard electricity 24 hours. It will improve my own work too. I will work conveniently.
The National Union of Electricity Employees says there are proposals to be attended to before the strike could be suspended. But the Lagos office of the Transmission Company of Nigeria has put means in place to protect infrastructure.
There will be no income, no turnout of payment, which will affect the country as entirely, and most especially the discos. But we are pleading with them; they should bear with us.
We have few stations that are still on potential. They are still working. They're not fully working. You understand? If there is any fault now, nobody to clear the fault because there's no access inside. You understand? But at least those equipment that are in service, we have to make sure that they are in service so that they will not be damaged.
Although there are numerous substitutes to electricity, but the challenge here, according to business owners, is that the cost of operations might eat up their profits margin.
Residents are however optimistic that the strike might not last, as power supply is key to national life. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
We hope that the issue is resolved in good time. And that's a contribution from Lagos. Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Nationwide continues with Felicia in just after this break.
Nigeria Golf Federation announces its first Nigeria Golf Federation Summit. This summit will discuss salient topical issues that relate to the development and upliftment of golf in Nigeria. Chairman General IBM Haruna, Special Guest of Honor, Honorable Minister of Sports Mr. Sunday Dare, Convener Otumba Olusegun Olusewe, OON, President Nigeria Golf Federation. Date 31st August to 2nd September 2022. Venue Ladikwali Hall, Sheraton Hotel and Towers, Abuja. Time 10 a.m. prompt. This event is supported by Polaris Bank, Nigerian Television Authority NTA, Africa Independent Television AIT, Golf Garden, Anchor Insurance and Royal Ceramics. Otumba Olusegun Olusewe, OON, President Nigeria Golf Federation, announcer.
Our pastors, our imams, in every church, in every mosque, please realize that in the course of praying for peaceful and transparent elections, we all have duties beyond prayers. If we want a stable society before, during and after the elections, what should you be saying to those that worship with you? All Sundays and all Fridays, you are saddled with the responsibility of bringing up good generations. It is therefore your duty to both man and God to ensure peace all the time, no matter about elections alone. People talk to people and people listen. Talk to your followers. Make them listen to ensure peaceful 2023 elections. This message from the National Orientation Agency.
Now, what could make someone set out on a journey and not get to his or her destination? Now, imagine the victim who cannot reach out to these responders, who doesn't even have the phone to reach out. Hello, thank you very much for joining us on platform. I'm Ruth Agwe.
Especially if the girl is a minor, she's not yet 18 years. If she gets pregnant, realize that such girl is sent out of school and the boy is left in school.
Just park to pick the call.
So how much sensitization is the FIS?
I don't agree. A lot of people are just deaf.
Thank you and welcome to Jos. 8,844 cases of tuberculosis have been recorded in Plateau State within first and second quarters of 2022, with 67 deaths between January 2021 to June 2022. Ekemeren Kaneng Ladoja has details of TB infection in the state.
Tuberculosis is a major public health concern, being the 10th leading cause of death worldwide. It is caused by mycobacterium infection, which usually affects the lungs and other parts of the body. Giving an overview of the disease in Plateau State, Program Manager, Tuberculosis, Leprosy and Buruli Ulcer Control explains that currently the state has 510 tuberculosis centers with 189 health facilities offering treatment to patients.
Quarter 1 this year we had 881 cases that were placed on medications. Then in quarter 2 we have 963, bringing a total of about 8,844 patients from January to end of June 2021 to quarter 2 2022. We have about 67 deaths.
To this end, the state government is stepping up efforts to increase the number of treatment centers, provide logistics for workers, as well as partnering other health organizations in the fight against the disease.
In addition to the counterpart funding by the state, there's also health financing with some of our partners, and then we're trying to do domestic resource mobilization so that TB patients can be captured in the state health insurance scheme.
Members of the public are advised to go for tuberculosis tests after coughing for more than 2 weeks. In Jos, Ekemeren Kaneng Ladoja, NTA News.
And away from health, The role of parents, religious organizations, traditional and community leaders have been described as key in curbing drug abuse in the society. This is the thrust of training on dangers of drug abuse in Jos. Zenred Dingmun has details.
Apart from the negative effects of drug abuse on one's health, it tarnishes the image of a nation. This necessitated the campaign to curb drug abuse in homes, schools, and workplace as it affects individuals and their output. Stakeholders say aside from being harmful to the human body, drug abuse has been discovered to facilitate criminal acts, thereby posing a threat to the society.
The song that should always come from our heart and lips is to say no to drug abuse.
It's incumbent on us to be gathering like this in the little effort that we are doing. We shouldn't be discouraged, but that this should propel more collaborations from other stakeholders.
Various speakers lament the increasing rate of drug abuse, emphasizing the need for all hands to be on deck to curb the menace.
To observe your children, to know when is that change in behavior, you quickly just know what step to take.
The young people and even adults that are engaged in drug abuse are in one way or the other members of our congregation, and they always rely on us as church leaders to profile a way out.
A paper on dangers of drug abuse in the workplace, effects on performance and productivity was presented, advising the public to stay away from drug abuse. In Jos, Zenred Dingmun, NTA News.
That's it from Jos. Let's rejoin Lydia in Abuja for more on Nationwide. Thank you, Felicia. The death has occurred of DURO Chief DURO ONABULE. He would have been 84 on September 27th this year, before his sudden demise on Tuesday night. With the news of late Chief DURO ONABULE's death, which came as a shock, reverberating beyond the media fraternity, the echoes of his life and times as a veteran journalist and is equally loud. In this package, Adeni Taiwo serves as snippets of the life of a man whose sojourn on earth was defined by his speaking pen.
Body is entirely handicapped in life. It depends on you.
His dripping pen earned him a nickname, the editor, even when he was just a secondary school student in CMS Grammar School, Lagos, between 1955 and 1960. That nickname was later proven so true and assumed a life of its own in 1984 when he became the first national editor of National Concord, 23 years after cutting his teeth in journalism at the defunct Daily Express in 1961.
I knew he helped so many grammarians who wanted to go into journalism to pick a cue. And I can tell you for free that one of them, who happened to be a lawyer, ended up being a journalist because of his encouragement and the way he tutored him.
I would say that Chief ONABULE was a very present figure in the media industry. Right from his time at Concord, the opinion pages and the columns that he authored. To that extent, we can say that Chief ONABULE made very telling contributions to the development of media industry in Nigeria.
His rise to prominence on the back of his pen, also as a columnist of repute, continued with a fitting appointment as the Chief Press Secretary to former military President Ibrahim Babangida between 1985 and 1993, when he deftly managed the information machinery of government at a critical time in the history of the nation. Even at 78, he was well sought after. His last appointment came at that period in 2017 when he was appointed as the chairman, NTA Board of Management by President Muhammadu Buhari.
One very outstanding contribution or achievement of that administration under his supervision was the completion of the NTA headquarters complex.
A man of panache, in love with white, complemented by a charming smile, Otuba ONABULE was an accomplished media professional with awards of recognition within and beyond the shores of Nigeria. Among several others, he was an officer, Cross of the Order of Merit, Federal Republic of Germany, member of the Victorian Order, United Kingdom, and on the home front, Jagmolo of Ijebuland in Ogun State. These and more, some of the man, as now lies cold, is spent still and quiet. But his legacies remain warm in the heart of men. In Lagos, Adini Itaiwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari commiserates with family of veteran journalists and former Chief Press Secretary to Military President General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, Chief DURO ONABULE, who passed on Tuesday at 83. The president notes the commendable contributions of a respected journalist to development of Nigeria, especially his role in stimulating robust debates with insightful articles while working variously as editor of National Concord and chairman board of directors of Nigerian Television Authority (NTA). President Buhari condoles with the former military leader, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, and Nigerian Guild of Editors over the sad loss. Also, Ogun State Governor DAPO ABIODUN has expressed grief over the demise of a veteran journalist, erstwhile Chief Press Secretary, the former military head of State General Ibrahim Babangida, retired, and former NTA Board Chairman, Chief DURO ONABULE, who passed on at 83. In a statement by his Chief Press Secretary, Kunle Shomori, Governor ABIODUN said he received the death of the Ijebu-born foremost journalist with a shock. The governor, who described ONABULE as one of the finest experts of the pen profession, noted that the nation will not forget his role as a mouthpiece of the military government of Babangida's regime. Governor ABIODUN, while commiserating with the deceased immediate family, Ijebu and the entire state, prayed for the repose of the soul of the former journalism guru. We now join Adeni Taiwo live, who is now at the residence of the late Chief DURO ONABULE. Now, Adeni Taiwo, if you can hear me, tell us more. What is the ambience like right there at his residence?
Lydia, I am right now in the living room of late Chief DURO ONABULE, and I was here earlier in the day, and in sharp contrast to what obtained when I first came in the morning, we have more people, more mourners coming in at this time to commiserate with the immediate family of the deceased. You can see his widow being attended to by family members who are here to empathize and provide the kind of support that is needed by the immediate family at this point in time. I have close by a family member who is here to also tell us more about late Chief DURO ONABULE. Sir, can you tell us your name and your relationship with the deceased, sir?
My name is Alhaji Tajuddin Opoluwa Surakatu. He's an in-law to me. He's the husband of my sister.
Okay.
In-law sister.
Okay. We know this is a close-knit family. Yeah. Can you give us a sense of what his last moment looked like before he passed on?
His last moment was very, very joyous.
Okay.
We met at Ijebu on Saturday in a very big grand party, and he was greeting everybody and happy as if he's aware of what is going to happen. And in fact, most of the people they have not seen him for the past 4 years, so they are always very happy with him, and he enjoyed himself. He was there for about 6 or 7 hours. Okay. And when he was going, I led him out.
Okay.
Not until yesterday again. I think he returned to Lagos on Monday. But yesterday, the wife just called me that something is happening, something is happening, something is happening. And I asked what is happening.
Okay.
He said his husband took tea.
He was not feeling well and he was taken to,
Yes, he was not speaking well. And he was taken to the very nearest hospital.
So, what can you tell us, about late ONABULE as a family person?
Well, he's a very pleasant person.
Okay.
He's very generous. He's very understanding.
Okay.
And I can call him a philanthropy, helping many people, different people.
Okay.
Education sector, life sector, all spheres of life.
Okay. We have to let you go now because of time. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. We understand that his body has been deposited at the morgue, and the family is meeting to actually come up with a funeral. But briefly too, if I may, I would like to take on the president of Old Grammarian Society. He was a member when he was alive. What can you tell us about him briefly?
He was one of the few elders who stood by the OGS and who was able to get the government to return the school back to the mission. For that, we will eternally be grateful to his memory and for what he did while alive.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Oluvincent.
Yes, thank you.
Lydia, you will go, sir. Lydia, I would like to wrap this up by giving Nigerians a bit of insight into late Chief DURO ONABULE. He was described as a man that has depth, and if you take a look at this library here, the quality of books that you find here, then I think the world will come to understand how he came to be who he was, that we respected. Some of the books, probably he wrote some, and he was an actor in some, like this one that you see here. So that is also to tell you that the man came, he invested in knowledge, and he also try as much as possible to influence others along that line. Lydia.
Thank you, Adeni. In fact, I'm not surprised to see those books there. I'm sure there are more elsewhere around the house. Thank you so much for that update and situation report. We appreciate it. Thank you. May his soul rest in peace. Let's move on with Nationwide. National Health Insurance Authority is strategizing to effectively deliver on its mandate of providing financial risk protection and improved access to health services in Nigeria. Basi Itaikpang reports on a review meeting where a memorandum of understanding was signed with partners to build capacities and competencies of middle to senior level managers in the authority for the attainment of universal health coverage. The report.
Inequality, limited financial protection are deemed as major challenges in the progress of making healthcare services accessible to all Nigerians. Ameliorating this is the reason partners are meeting to reposition the National Health Insurance Authority into a result-oriented public institution that would catalyze socio-economic and human capital development in Nigerian health sector.
These reforms, which include many innovations that spans around ENHIA for digitalization of the health insurance ecosystem, the development of 10-year strategic plan.
The reason for this MOU is to be able to provide technical assistance to the National Health Insurance Authority to work towards attaining universal health coverage in the country.
It will also equip staffs with skills needed to drive health financing and policy reforms.
So that in itself has demonstrated to us that slowly but surely we will see change in our healthcare space in Nigeria. Because for us to have a good, vibrant health sector, universal healthcare cannot be a storyline. It has to be something that works.
The reform, which is in collaboration with Results for Development and key partners, will be delivered by 3 training institutions as well as Africa Resource Center, Nairobi, Kenya. Basi Itaikpang, NTA.
Ibadan is our next stop and Adebola is waiting. Hello, Adebola.
Good to see you, Lydia. Welcome to Ibadan. The need to revamp the health sector towards creating affordable healthcare delivery and enhance the well-being of Nigerians have been emphasized. This was the thrust of discussion as key players in the health sector met at the roundtable in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Shola Wahid has details.
The senator represented observed that health is key to the sustainable development goal of any nation. Hence the need for government at all levels to invest in the sector to facilitate reduction in payment for healthcare service delivery by the people.
Under this new act, the National Health Insurance Authority, using the fund provided by the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, will be able to take care of this vulnerable group.
Chairman of Nigerian Medical Association, Untitled Chapter, urged the federal government to declare state of emergency.
This bill was set apart to ensure that health gets to everybody, that we all have universal health coverage, and we must all ensure that this happens so that even the poor, the most impoverished person in our midst can access health at any time.
It's not just salary, but when you go to work and you are quite happy to work because the facilities are available for you to do the work, you see the results, you are happy with the results, even if you are not as paid as somebody else somewhere else, you'll be happy.
Guests at the event commended NMA for providing a platform for stakeholders in the health sector to chart ways forward towards fostering development in the sector. In Ibadan, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
Collaboration between citizens and security agencies has been identified as a way to curb security challenges in the country. This formed discussions at the Nigeria Security Summit held in Ogbomoso. Kayode Oladoshu report.
Speaking on the importance of collaboration, a Deputy Commandant of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Adesoji Akingbade, said that security agencies alone cannot achieve the desired goal until residents of an area support them in providing information. Akingbade, while attributing the causes of insecurity to armed proliferation, poverty, and gangsterism, noted that this necessitated the formation of agro rangers by the NSCDC to help them counter herders-farmers clashes and kidnapping.
Any information given to us will be treated with utmost confidentiality, and as a matter, if you give us such information, then we go to act on it.
Area C Commander NSCDC Ogbomoso explained that the summit was put in place to enlighten members of the society on how best to secure themselves in view of the security challenges in the country. Participants at the summit noted that they will utilize what they have learned by supporting efforts of the security agencies. In Ibadan, Kayode Oladoshu, NTA News.
And that's it from us in Ibadan. Nationwide continues with Obey in Benin after this break. Do stay with us.
Believes that the Buhari-led administration has made remarkable progress,
like Lafia Transmission Station nearing completion. Africa does not need charity, but partnerships that will promote the adequate investment
with the cooperation of all.
Sharing firsthand the experiences of reporters on the field as they bring to you weekly the beauty of Nigeria's diverse culture and the economic potentials therein. The Correspondents, development through the eye of the grassroots, showing every Monday at 1:30 p.m. on the network service of the NTA, with a repeat broadcast on NTA News 24 and NTA International. Join us.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For for safety at home. Still, be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
And welcome to Benin. Officers and personnel of the Nigerian Police Force serving in Zone 5 have been urged to remain focused and disciplined to continue to exhibit high level of professionalism in the discharge of their duties. The AIG in charge of the zone, Lawan Jemita, gave the charge during an interaction with some personnel, including newly elevated officers in the zone. Jude Abugu has the details.
AIG Jemita, who in his address appreciated personnel of the command for their efforts in curbing crimes and criminal activities in the zone, reassured them of the commitment of the Inspector General in boosting their morale and capacity for effective crime prevention.
We remember that we are serving Nigeria. We are not serving anybody. We are to be neutral, professional, and disciplined in our activities.
The AIG also admonished personnel against making themselves easy and available tools to politicians during the 2023 elections campaign activities.
When it comes to election duties, we are the lead agency. All other agencies will just be supporting us. That means we have to interact with all security agencies. They will be looking up to us for what to do.
To the newly promoted officers in the zonal command, he reminded them that promotion comes with more responsibilities. In Benin, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
The use of renewable energy, reduction of greenhouse gas emission are parts of strategies to mitigate impacts of climate change in Nigeria. This is a submission of some experts in Akure on climate change mitigation. Kayode Olomdari reports.
Climate change affects virtually all natural and economic systems. Research shows that about 1.4 billion people around the world rely on fossil fuels like coal and wood to meet their energy needs. And when these fuels are burnt, they release large amounts of carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas, into the air, causing global warming, which can lead to deaths of millions of people. Experts say for the impact of climate change to be mitigated, renewable energy must be embraced.
Modernize our transportation system is just to reduce the use of carbon dioxide, using clean energy like electric cars, like clean hydrogen energy, and using solar and other things.
We need to conserve energy. We need to conserve water.
Conservation and restoration of forests. Experts say we also help in reducing the amount of carbon dioxide being released into the atmosphere.
And one way of reducing carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and mitigating climate change is to plant lots of trees. It's called afforestation or reforestation.
Greening your environment is one way to adapt to climate change. What does it do? It cools the environment.
Respondents want governments to implement policies that will guide against climate-related problems across the country. In Akure, Kayode Olorundare, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. Nationwide continues with Lydia in Abuja.
Many thanks, Obehi. Medical practitioners in Nasarawa State are advocating for insurance policy for its members due to hospital hazards at a conversation in Lafia. The Nigerian Medical Association says implementing insurance policy among other welfare packages will address cases of brain drain. Victoria Ojito reports.
As frontline workers, medical personnel are at risk of contracting contagious diseases when duty calls to save lives, with many health workers who lost their lives during the COVID-19 pandemic, among other outbreaks. The conversation here convened by the Nigerian Medical Association in Nasarawa State is to bring forth challenges medical personnel face while discharging their duties. While restating their commitments to saving lives, they are calling for better working conditions to minimize hazards in the job and the need to recognize medical doctors as head in the medical profession so as to avoid conflicts among other affiliate arms in the health sector.
I've promised my members that I will ensure that I secure tax rebates because our salaries are heavily taxed.
The doctor decides where the patient should go and how the patient should be treated at the end of the time. So the patient is the doctor's son, and everything we are doing is for the benefit of the doctor, for the patient, and the patient's satisfaction.
Nasarawa State government says it remains committed to providing conducive working environment for medical practitioners in order to contain exodus of medical doctors from the states.
If the leadership is right, then the organization will be on the right path. The corollary is also true, and that is, if the leadership is faulty or poor, then the organization will inevitably suffer for it.
The summit has as its theme the concept of leadership in the health sector, the role of Nigerian Medical Association. In Lafia, Victoria Ochito, NTA News.
Adequate understanding of the provisions of the amended Electoral Act will help in addressing the challenges being associated with the nation's electioneering process. Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje stated this at the Northwest Zonal Sensitization on the Electoral Act in Kano. Abdullahi Mustafa has the details.
The general election will be conducted in 1,491 constituencies nationwide, with an estimated voter population of about 95 million.
This is a stakeholder engagement convened by the Senate Committee on Electoral Matters. It brings together representatives of political parties, civil society organizations, and community leaders from 7 states of the Northwest Zone. The aim is to get them acquainted with the working of the legal framework of the Electoral Act so as to avoid stepping on legal and technical landmines.
It might be unknowingly murdered by actions and inactions of candidates.
Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje is optimistic that with adequate sensitization, many problems previously been encountered during elections could easily be tackled.
Because election is not for the elites, it's not for the educated people. The elites constitute a small portion of the society.
He was corroborated by the Chairman Senate Committee on Appropriations, OGUN, House Leader Al-Hassan Adodo, and representatives of Jigawa, Kaduna, and Katsina State governors. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
A 4-day international conference on counseling organized by Counseling Association of Nigeria has commenced in Yola with focus on mental health and counseling psychology in the post-COVID-19 era in Nigeria. Usman Mukhtar reports that the conference is the 46th in the series. The report.
Members of Counseling Association of Nigeria from different parts of the country. They are meeting for the 46th time in Yola. This time around, their morale is high because 3 weeks ago, President Muhammadu Buhari signed into law the Bill for the Counseling Practitioners Act, which stands to enhance the activities of the group, particularly in behavioral management modalities for higher productivity. Speakers at the ceremony focused on the effect on global economy caused by COVID-19, which in turn lead to prevalence of mental health and mental disorders, throwing more than 400 million people into depression.
With the act now, we are licensed to really help.
Mental activity is so important, and if that is going to be sustained, we need good relationship.
Adamawa, being the host state, appreciated the organizers for the honor and promised to reciprocate through support and policy development to enhance counseling services.
It will engender better mental health.
In Yola, Usman Mukhtar, NTA News.
And that report concludes nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Before we go, let's remind you to join NTA's campaign against rape and rapists. Thanks for being a part of this. I am Lydia Odijochi. Good evening.
Is a mustard seed, then nurture it, water it, grow it into that tree in your rainforest.
And she already stands in front of it and mustard seed.
One of the prevalent social issues in our society.
There are certain things you take that is good for you, at the same time there's a bad side.
Yeah. What is it that you want to leave us with today?
Our reality with SKYE, 10:30 a.m. every Monday, and it repeats at 12 midnight.
This week on Executive Discuss.
You were a young officer during the war in Nigeria, and in 1969, you took a bullet to the right side of your chest. You had an opportunity for it to be removed, but you refused. And I don't know if you still wear that shrapnel till today.
The shrapnel is still on, and that proved the doctor right. Because I asked him. I was in the university.